5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Welcome to the podcast, Mr. Dan Martineau.
Thank you, Mr. Pluff.
What's happening?
Not too much. How are you?
Living the nightmares we call life.
That's the way.
But thank you for coming down and wallowing in our misery.
Yeah, I'm happy to be here. I've never done anything like this, and I'm a huge podcast guy. So
Nice.
That's it. Now you're living the dream.
Yeah, it was.
I'm like Rich Roll right now.
When did I text you? On Saturday, right?
Yeah. I think, when did I ask you? Because it must have been Saturday.
Oh yeah. Well, I saw the posting on Facebook, and I'm like,
It's time.
if I don't get if I don't get asked again, because he mentioned it 2 weeks ago, I'm like, this is the time.
Yeah.
And then like 3 minutes later, you came in with it.
Yeah. I tried getting him here like just a couple weeks ago, just randomly, just as another stand-in or whatever, sit-in, and he was busy. And then we were talking, and we were just like, oh, we don't have a guest. And I'm like, and I know you said if it was any other night, absolutely.
I'll come in every other week if you want.
Yeah.
Unless people say that guy's a chump, get him off.
We're going to have a bunch of chairs set up and stuff over there for the viewing pleasure. So, we could have like 3 or 4 people here every podcast just hanging out. And that's what I wanted. That's what I envisioned, This has been like a high school reunion for the most part for us.
Yeah.
We've had a lot of people from high school on here that we haven't seen in years.
I saw Rossi on here, and I saw Griff on here. I mean, Matt Griffin's been your best guest ever.
Yeah. He actually
no
still,
offense, Brett.
he still has the most views so far. We'll see what Rich does, but I think Rich will take him out in the long run.
Yeah.
But so far he still has the number one.
Yeah.
So I think when people start catching up, I think he starts telling his kids at school
Oh, of course.
to go ahead and listen, which I'll take it. I'll take the views.
You get a 2-second deficit off your time. Just like, give me one of these.
Right. What are we drinking tonight, boys?
Dan and I are
Travato.
splitting a Trevento Golden Reserve. Malbec, of course. I always talk about how I like my Malbec wine. So
You definitely
there we
love
go.
those.
It's another one. I don't know. Was highly rated and
It's not bad.
not highly expensive, so I figured I'd give it a shot.
I like
Okay.
it.
Yeah. You tried it already?
Yeah.
You like it?
It's not bad at all.
And I've got my old Maxwell House coffee in here with my effing magical unicorn, it says on here.
I was admiring the mug.
Yeah.
I got this at a Yankee swap at a family Christmas party, like my immediate family.
I would have never guessed
So I think it was at like my mother-in-law's. So whoever gave me this, I mean, I could just, there's only a couple of options to choose from, but
We had
bravo to you.
A similar situation 2 Christmases ago. We did a Yankee swap with one of my sisters, and the gag gift was a hippopotamus gravy boat.
Oh, awesome.
And I wound up.
Did it come out the
Awesome
butt?
possum.
No, it came at the mouth, but it was just the most hideous, ludicrous kind of gift you would give someone. And I had this awesome blanket, plaid, and my nephew's like, give me the blanket. And I'm like, man. So I took the ladle, good faith. I'm like, cool. He got deployed to Kuwait. He just got back, but for like 6 months. And so for Christmas, when we sent the care package out to him, I sent the ladle.
Oh, that's awesome.
And he got it, and on Christmas Day, he opened it up with my sister on like a Teams or Zoom or whatever, and he's like, what the? That stayed in Kuwait, though. It's not coming back.
Isn't it weird? Like, who would have thought, especially before last year, if you want to talk to somebody, it's through Teams or through
Zoom
Google
or
Meet.
something,
I mean, it's just
Yeah.
insane,
It's awesome.
I had an 8-hour meeting today, all on Teams, and the first couple hours is not too bad.
Yeah.
Then you get to the third hour, and you're like, okay, and then thank God we have breaks at really good times because you get to go up. I usually just walk outside for a second, grab some coffee, and then come back down, and then you're ready for the next round.
I'm doing a training program at my place, and we basically spend 8 hours a day just on Zoom, totally booked calendars, and we're all literally jumping from the same meeting to the next meeting. And we're like, oh, gotta cut it short. I don't even. The productivity is amazing, though. Like, I actually find value in being home and I get more done, I think.
Right, yeah.
That way, so. But everything right now with the Zoom calls, even the ones we've done with just like Durand and
Oh yeah, just
Levesque
like
and
just hangouts, like Friday night, just have some drinks.
Oh really?
You know?
Yeah.
Never met.
Like early on, like last year, after like in like month 1 or 2, it was like, let's just get a bunch of people together. And like, I got shithoused.
It was great. I wasn't drinking, so I watched everyone decline as the hours went by.
People were just like ghosting, just like falling off and never coming back.
Not even saying goodbye, like just going offline.
Just head down and they're out.
So I signed off once Bino got naked. I was like,
well, yeah.
I see some people doing like game night where they get a bunch of friends over, do the game night. So we should probably do that. That's got to be wicked fun.
I know that. I think there's a website where you can do like Cards Against Humanity online. So you could like do Zoom and then share your screen of like the online. I've heard of people doing that, but I haven't found the website. I don't think it's done by Cards Against Humanity, but it's basically identical to that game. But you can play virtually and then you just Zoom each other while you're playing virtually.
I have to admission I've never played the game.
Oh, it's hilarious.
It?
Oh my God.
Totally inappropriate. Yep. But have you ever played Apples to Apples?
Only when I was a kid.
Okay, so not like the little card game for like kids.
Yeah.
It's like that, but just very inappropriate.
Oh, nice.
Like if you think the most offensive thing you could say and put it on a card, it's in there.
All right.
Yeah,
and if it's not in there, there's blank ones, and you can write it in there.
I tell you, some of the time, the first couple times we played that game, I was on the floor.
Yeah.
I mean, it's worth every single penny and every bit of your time to play that game.
It sounds like a game we probably would have, or just a typical conversation at Jennifer's Kitchen on a Sunday morning.
Yeah.
When we used to all coagulate there for 3 hours.
Exactly.
Yep.
We used to get the back room, same crew, Riz, Thompson, everybody would all go down there. We came in special from Daytona just to be there one morning.
No kidding.
We drove like through the night coming back from spring break, Daytona Beach, and really just like showed up.
Brett drove through the night. I don't think I drove down or back.
I used to be a beast. I just do it in one shot.
Power right through it?
Right through.
I'm good right till South Carolina, and then I'm toast.
I can't do it so much anymore. I can't tell you how many times though that I've gone like to Florida one shot or back, and like
I've done it 3
hours.
3 times with him.
Yeah.
One time with Mark Schnezak, and I'm sitting in the back of the Cavalier, Mark's in the front, probably 1 or 2 in the morning, and I'm laying there, and I just like, and the car was just like floating and humming, and it was like I'm in light speed. When I opened my eyes, I just went, I'm just going back to bed. I don't even want to know how fast, or what direction we're going in right now. It's terrifying.
Just put your head back in that safe place.
And Brett's just like this. And literally, it's like Han Solo.
Yeah, all without incident. Just barrel right through.
Breakdown lanes, medians, whatever.
Yeah. The only time I've ever really had like that fast experience was when my wife was pregnant for our daughter, and I was out near Boston, and I get the phone call like 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning on my old Nokia phone. And
you were playing Snake.
And the voicemail was, "Get home now, my water broke." So I didn't drive. One of my mentors drove up there, and so I totally forgot what hotel room he was in, what number. So I run downstairs, and of course they don't want to give you any information. I'm like, "Listen, man, my wife's in labor. This guy got me here. He needs to get me back there. So I need him now." And so finally the security guard comes out, and he goes, "All right, I'm going to have to go with you, though." I'm like, "Okay, fine."
Sure.
So we get in the room, and Joe.
You don't even know my wife, though. Why would you want to come?
And he's out cold. I'm like, "Joe, you got to get up. You got to get up." He's like, "Oh," I'm like, Lauren's coming today. And he's like, "Oh," he got like the instant. He goes, "But I got to take a shower first." I'm like, "Oh my God, we don't have time for a shower." But he did. He jumped in the shower, got that done. So he gets in the car, and he had a Alero, a bright red Alero.
Yeah.
So we get in the car, and I'm not paying attention. I'm trying to call her. She's not answering her phone anymore. So I'm like, "Joe, we got to get there." And the next thing I know, he just mashes it. And the car, we were going so fast that the car was going boom, 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 like rocking back and forth. And so
it's the pistons bouncing off. It's not built for speed. It's built for comfort.
Yeah. So we get to the hospital, and I get to the front desk, explain who I am, and they're like, "Sorry, we don't have anybody here by that name." I'm like, "Whoa, I'm a prankster," so I figured she put one of them up to that. And sure enough, she wasn't there, and I freaked out. I'm like, "She told me to be here. Like, this is the place." She's like, "Nope, we're full." So we shipped them over to Bay State.
We were full.
Can you imagine that? Like that night, everybody decided to give birth.
Matrix? I mean, come on.
And then so I get over there, I walk in the front door, and some guy's waiting for me. And he's like, "Are you Jeff?" I'm like, "Yeah." He goes, "Get upstairs." I got up there. She was pushing.
Yeah.
And so Joe followed me up. I didn't even realize he was behind me.
And the security
And
guard.
a security
And a
guard.
security
I was
guard.
gonna have-
So my sister, who works in the hospital, Kathy, she comes down to go see after Lauren was born, and she's like, she walks by Joe, and I can see her, and she starts laughing. She walks in, she goes, "Is that Joe out there?" And he's sound asleep.
Yeah.
You know, it was first thing in the morning. He was comfortable, so he partaked in my.
Did you say he was sleeping like a baby?
He was, and people were like checking on him to make sure he was okay.
Yeah.
You know, like, is this guy dead? You know?
Why is that guy with the gun and handcuffs with him?
When my oldest brother was born, I guess my dad was out fishing, like with a bunch of guys, and you know, of course, no cell phones or anything. So he was out there all day pounding beers and everything like that, and you know, fishing. Gets back, and I don't know at what point, once he got back on shore and got in contact with somebody, maybe even when he got home, like, you know, your wife's in labor. So he drives to the hospital, never showered, nothing. Shows up like basically, you know, half in the bag, smelling like fish and whatever else.
That was me. I was smelling
blood all
bourbon.
around.
The day I was born, my dad was working in the house. My grandmother drove my sisters by so they could yell out, "It's a boy." I'm like, "You weren't even there?"
I wish I'll tell you what, at
Gotta
that
finish
point
the
in time,
house.
I wished it was the same way. I just want to go sit in another room. Come get me when you know my kid's born. Let me know if we're all set. I don't need to see all the other things in between, because I will tell you that after I saw my wife give birth, I had a newfound respect for her, watching her pass a human being, and then about an hour later, getting out of her bed, saying she has to go clean up because she wants to get out of there.
Yeah.
I'm like,
that's a
what?
trooper.
I would have been crying in a fetal position, you know.
Yeah.
For
My firstborn's still killing me. Like the pain watching. It was brutal. I was like traumatized. I'm like,
Oh, I know. At one point I had to get up and leave the room.
Yeah.
I'm like, I can't do this.
I'm gonna hit the deck.
You know, like it was like I'm always in control. Like I always have a plan. And I know what's going on, and like I can handle a situation. And like there was my wife, like going through this, and I didn't have a solution. You know, like I couldn't fix it. So I was like so overwhelmed with everything. I'm like, I gotta go walk.
They
around.
code blued for Joe because he was inverted or something like Goose in Top Gun, and they had to push him back in and whatever they do,
somersault him.
Yeah. I guess so. That's where I was like, I'm not gonna make it.
Yeah, yeah.
This is like a Lightning Crashes song.
The next one's like I stayed on the other side of the curtain, and then my third son, he had to do an emergency C-section, and
that was my first one.
Yeah, and they wanted me to like go in there, and I'm like, no. I'm like, I'll be out here. Like, then my sister-in-law went in. She's like, she took pictures and everything. Like, we got pictures of my wife's guts.
Yeah,
so weird.
I watched my second for my youngest was a cesarean, and we pranked. We knew it was a girl, so when it came out, I'd been goofing around and talking with the doctor and all that, and he pulls out, "It's a boy." Her face was like, and I'm like, "Elvis."
She's like, "Put it back in. It's not done yet."
And he's like, "Just kidding." It was fantastic. But I got to be honest, I didn't feel a thing through either three of them.
I did great.
Yeah.
That's what I would say. I did great during that pregnancy.
Yeah. I mean, I put on a little bit. It all came off the fresh baby weight, you know, but
it's been 27 years. I haven't lost the weight from the first one yet.
Yeah, I held on to the baby weight for quite some time.
I found yours.
It was great when she was pregnant, man, because she'd come home. I want this. I want this. I'm like, yep, we're going for that right now. Get in the car. And it was my excuse to act like an absolute slob, and I loved every minute of it.
Like, absolutely. Let's get another pint of Ben and Jerry's.
Can't do White Hut again.
I was such an enabler. You know, I'd whisper like, "I want donuts," and she'd be like, "Oh my God, I want donuts." I'm like, "Well, that's where we're going. Let's go get donuts." You know,
Mr. Go.
Now, how many kids do you have?
3.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah. Parallel with him.
Yeah, they're all about the same age, I think. Well, Ellie's
7, 15, and 18.
Wow.
Soon to be 9. Obviously, the way time works. Soon to be a year older each.
Yeah.
I got a 27-year-old.
Oh, shit.
Is he 20? Yeah, he's 27. I had to think about that for a second. He's 27.
Were you still in high school or just out of high school?
I was still in high school, my senior year.
No, sir. Really?
Yep. When she was dropped me off at school, she was pregnant.
Oh, wow.
Yep. we moved in right shortly after graduation, and
She kept you?
no, not just for a little while. You know, we were kids.
Yeah,
you know, and a lot of people, you know, when you have relationships and they go south, especially when you're young, you know, I knew I was up against up the stream when it came to people even liking me at that age. You know, especially her family, that I got her pregnant. You know, and all that kind of stuff. So,
yeah,
most of her family was, you know, supportive. There was a couple that weren't, but we always made it about when we split up. We always said, let's make it all about Justin all the time.
Yeah.
And where we live now, I actually moved out here to be closer to her.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
It was easier to help. It was, you know, Carl Bear was out here already.
Yeah.
He lives just a couple houses up.
Oh, really?
Yep. And so, you know, I've been blessed that my wife from day one, because when I met my wife, she was actually my boss. So she could see my son coming in all the time.
Yeah.
You know, she knew my ex.
That's awesome.
And you know, I told her, I said, if we're gonna have a relationship, I probably said, I think my exact words were, I got a weird relationship with my son's mother, but I mean it'd be like it was weird. Might be weird for you because we hang out all the time, you know, and we do all these things together. But there's obviously nothing going on, and I can't seem to get the sound right today for me. I don't know what it is.
And
for me,
sounds good for me. Yeah.
You're like the songbird of our generation.
Yeah. I think I'm going deaf. Honest to God, between wearing these for the Xbox, I'm gonna be toast.
You're nerding yourself out right there.
I do. Do you still play?
I don't.
Really?
Yeah, I couldn't figure out once I went past the Atari 2600, the one button, and then we went to the stand-up games with 3 buttons.
That's where you lost it.
He goes 4 buttons.
I'm not even in the 90s yet.
As soon as you have the 4 buttons on the Nintendo, on the NES.
I was literally irrelevant in the gaming world until Mario Kart came out, and I made a huge comeback.
Oh, in Daytona, USA.
Where I would do the 500 in a 20-hour span while he worked, and I drink coffee and just sat there because I didn't do anything. So
we'd be partying in his house. We'd be playing like Daytona, USA, and I would, I'd like go home. You know, I used to work third shift at UPS, so I'd get up like 4, and I'd be driving to work like 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning, and you could see it, this big TV, and on Montgomery Street where his his mom's house is, and
that's right down around the corner right there.
Yeah. I could see that he was playing. And then I'd freaking come home like 8:30 in the morning. I'd drive by the other way, still fucking playing.
And he'd be honking the horn as he's going up. And I'm like, he's going to rhythm.
So can I admit something now? I do that still.
Yeah.
So,
but the games are a little more interactive and social now.
I'm a beast too. Like, I don't like to lose. And my teammates will tell you, and they watch this. You know, we get into some heated arguments, man. Like, I just yelled at one of my guys yesterday that I literally think of him like a brother, And, so in that game, there's these spawn points. And if you spend certain parts of the map, if you stay there, we will all spawn there for the whole game, which puts us at a total disadvantage because now the whole map is open for our enemies to sit up and just wait for us to come down, right? And we have this argument where this guy just doesn't want to give up his spot in that house. And, I'm one of those people that I think about the game very strategically, and like I play this map the same way almost every time because I get great results. Mm-hmm. So when things starts to break down, or like we should definitely be whacking this team like you wouldn't believe, and I'm losing. Oh, my mind goes into like craziness.
You don't feel like Nino Brown in his character when you walk by like his room in the game. See ya. We're moving.
And I yelled at him, and he's like, I'm spawning up here. I'm like, you know what? That's an excuse. That's an excuse that you used. If he wasn't in that building, this wouldn't have happened. Then next thing you know, he goes offline. He's done with me for the day.
And you can move.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
And I love the guy like a brother, but this is how we communicate, and it gets challenging sometimes where you're trying to, like, I get confused sometimes where, like I said, we play the same maps all the time. So if you're not getting good results by what you're doing, don't go that way or change it up, right?
Change your route. Yeah.
I'm really good at that and thinking outside the box, but there's some people that just, they're very forward thinkers, and that's the only thing they can see in front of them. So that's where the argument comes from, is like, we could have done better and we lost against these guys. And of course, it never fails. We lose against somebody, they get back in the party and they let us have it. Nothing like a 10-year-old tell me what to do with my mother.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, and I'm like, where are your parents, you little shit?
That brings me back to Endgame when they're trying to get Thor.
Oh, yeah.
Thor.
But we play, I play like maybe once or twice during the week. I don't like to really touch it during the week.
But that's like 12, 15 hours in a run, you're saying?
Oh, so when we get on, it's a mad tear. So Saturday we'll play for a couple hours, but Sunday we get up at like 8 o'clock in the morning.
To play video games?
Yep. And I'll play till 8 o'clock at night. And I'll take maybe 1 or 2 breaks, maybe, to grab something to eat. That's a day that we always get Chinese food delivered. You know, it's a whole thing. I make it like a very structured environment, you know.
It's like football Sunday.
That's it. Well, yeah.
You know, it's like,
But I don't know nothing about sports, man. I'm the last guy you want to bring to a sports party.
No, I don't know anything about sports either.
I know about sports, but I don't know anything about video games.
Yeah.
Like the last time I tried to get into a modern day video game, I had a Wii, which I bought for the kids so they could, you know, and I bought Call of Duty.
My favorite game.
And it was the World War II one. Like,
Oh, yeah.
I
World at War.
Yeah, I get off the John's boat or whatever. I couldn't even get off the beach. Like 3 hours of just trying to progress to
Just past the
checkpoint.
beach.
Just past, not even past it, just into it, on it. And my like, I think Joe was like 8 or 9 there, and he's like, "Give me that." Gone, and I'm like,
Tears right through it. Yeah.
I'm not doing
I
this
suck
again.
at Guitar Hero. That was my claim to fame.
I can't even do that.
Yeah.
I could sing.
I was pretty nasty.
I don't know if it was well, but you know, we could actually play.
Stayed within the lines. But,
Yeah.
But yeah, no, any of those.
Black Hole
like,
Sun, I set a record, 100%.
Any of those like, you know, first person shooters and stuff like that. I don't know. I just suck at it and don't enjoy it. So.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, when I sit down, I put those earphones on.
Yeah, you're there.
I mean, and we have another guy that we play with who's better than me. We all think he's cheating. Shout out to Nate. We know you're cheating,
Cheater.
bastard.
Yeah,
But
we know.
Up, down, 3-3, left, right, left, right, start.
He makes me, he challenges me to do better and think in a different way. So, for me, it was I got a PlayStation 4, I believe it was, or a 3. What are we at now?
5.
Okay, so there must have been a 4.
Yep.
It was definitely a 4. And so me and my son were playing with it. We moved to this house, and a guy I used to work for turned out to be a phenomenal friend of mine, Clint Hanley. Shout out to Clint.
Shout out to Clint.
I have not seen him in a while, but I'm going to make a phone call. I met him. He was my boss at Payless Shoes. And became good friends. So we used to have these video game days where he would come over and we play Siphon Filter. Remember that for Nintendo?
I know of it. Never played it, but
great game. Crazy. He goes, you can get online with that PlayStation. I'm like, what? He goes, you can play online. I go, what does that mean?
Yeah.
He goes, you can play against other players from around the world. And I'm like, no. He's like, all right, I'll do everything for you.
Yeah.
Turned it on, set it up. First game. Ruined my life. I know what people feel like who must, like, they smoke crack for their first time or shoot heroin, because I can remember
that was that day.
I was up all night. And we had just moved in, so we didn't get, like, we still had stuff to do. Like, if you ever saw this place before, it was a disaster.
So the wife was like, "Can you help me unpack?" And you're like, "No."
Yeah.
Okay, just a couple more hours.
Yeah. Hold on, I'm trying to get online right now for that.
And
Internet's working.
And for a while, I think I had a problem. I think there's some truth about it being addictive, So I try to space it out throughout the week, but I could sit in front of that thing for days.
You know what? Actually, what I did, one thing I did that with was Roller Coaster Tycoon.
Oh yeah,
The computer game when that first came out.
Yeah.
Like I was up to like 2, 3, and I was an adult. Like I was like 20 something years old because I got it when I was working at Circuit City. Like when I first started there. And I'm up to like 2 a.m, like watching my park.
Easy 2 a.m.
Yeah.
Easy,
Not even
just
thinking.
watching it,
I
like
actually played
hiring
that.
more janitors and shit.
Yes.
And
Moving
then
a tree.
Then I'd I'd go to work and I'd just like increase my staff and just like leave it running for the day so I could cash in on the money. Like and I had that shit going for like 24 hours a day, and I'm like, I gotta stop. Like my amusement park's taking over my life.
He started dressing like the professor in Lost World or Jurassic Park. Come into Circuit in the white, the beard like Colonel Sanders.
Yeah.
Yeah, top of the line, spared no expense.
Oh, I'm telling you though, it's definitely a disease. I wonder if I can collect Social Security on that, and then I could play more.
Exactly. You maybe even be able to get it prescribed.
I'm gonna have to look into that because this working thing sucks.
You gotta get some long-term care.
Well, I'm already
Medical leave.
morbidly obese. according to my BMI chart. So I got that going for me.
All of it. Even he is still probably.
Oh, yeah.
Are you really?
No.
Are you down below that?
I am just overweight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I think for I'm 6. Well, I'm 5'9" now, or 5'11" now, according to my last physical. But if I'm not 168 pounds, I'm obese. So I weighed that in 9th grade.
Yeah, 170.
Yeah.
That's my.
I'm at 255.
Yeah, I'm at 215.
I was
I'm not feeling good
290.
either.
I was at 295.
Were you really?
Yeah. Yeah.
When I started dieting, I was at 295. Yeah.
So you must have gained that weight after the last time I saw you at.
I just gained it all.
Yeah.
Like I just kept gaining.
Really, huh?
Yeah. I was.
Were you eating like shit, or was it just?
No
one eats shit, man.
Beer.
Gross.
Yeah.
Well, some people do. It all depends where you're from.
Is there even a lot of calories in that?
My dogs.
I mean, all the nutrients are gone. Why would you eat
all
that?
nutrients. But
My dog.
no, it was just a lot of beer.
Yeah.
Really?
No,
Yeah, and portions. So it's not that I ate. I cook healthy and everything like that, but I just would eat a lot of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm the same way.
I am too.
That plus beer, but like junk food, rarely, and no fast food. Like I never touch fast food, so it was all just cook at home, like wholesome meals. But
Shooters on
just
tap.
Yeah.
The box of shots.
just 2 or 3 servings of it.
Yeah.
And then beer. Like that.
We used to walk around my parties, each with an Alabama Slammer box on a string and a shot glass, and that was just what we would do.
Yeah.
We would just
Oh yeah, do you
Very natural,
remember
very
those things?
natural.
Shooters on tap.
shooters on
No,
tap.
I've
No,
never seen
It was,
them,
so it was
no.
like a box of wine, except it was like a pre-mixed shooter. So
it was
they had,
pioneering.
Like Southern Comfort made them. They're like watermelon and like Alabama Slammer
Yeah.
and a couple other ones.
Really? Yeah.
And it had
How
a
did I
little
miss
tap.
that?
And it was like a bag
don't
in a
know.
box, and it had 40 shots in the bag. So we just have
Wow.
walk around at a party. And,
People would be like, "How much have you had to drink?" I'd be like, 28 shots.
That's like since the invention of bottled water. You
Yeah.
get that. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
But then I threw that curse at him. One night he was complaining. I'm like, thinner. So he's not going to be around much longer. I haven't learned how to take it away.
Well, I told you, if he gets too anorexic, we'll definitely have to bring him here. I'll get him in a room together.
Yeah.
Brett, we just got something we need to tell you today.
This is not sounding like Pulp Fiction.
No, he's not going to have to squeal.
Got a couple
That's
of flies.
deliverance.
Dead, baby.
We're going to
Zed's
tell him
dead.
if you don't take this help that we're offering you today.
yeah, no, not
Eat the burrito.
10 more pounds.
Really, huh?
Yeah, one's trying to get to my like ideal body weight. So
Yep.
like the, what science says, like even my scale and like the little app, that's what it says. And,
10 up or 10 down?
What?
10 down.
10 down, yeah.
Oh.
And then I'll gain some back.
Yeah.
But I just want to get to 0.
You just want to say you got there.
Well,
No.
because like I could, I could just go start eating, a full diet right now, and I'm gonna gain some, some back. But if I'm gonna gain 10 pounds, I'd rather gain it
From the base.
from the starting, because then
Sure.
I'll be like where I'm at now.
Sure.
And I'm cool with this, but I want this to be the end point.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Yeah, that's
But yeah,
it's
almost
awesome
riding
transformation, to be
sucks.
honest
almost
with
300 pounds. It was, and the crazy thing is, like, I didn't feel bad. Like, I had high blood pressure.
You didn't feel
but that
tardy?
was it. I didn't feel tardy. And I definitely didn't have as much energy. But it wasn't like I wasn't up to do things. Like we went hiking every weekend. We traveled.
There's
and
definitely more out doing shit stuff than I was.
Yeah.
yeah, I was super active, but it just, I just gotten to that point, and the deficit that you need, so just got on a structured plan, and then ultimately, I had the weight loss surgery, but even going into my surgery, just sticking with the diet plan they gave me, I lost 40 pounds in 2.5 months.
Wow. You got to give me that. You still have that in writing?
Yeah, I mean, I can tell you, it's, so this is not
Probably
medical
not
advice.
fun.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah,
not
so
medical advice.
Throw our disclaimer. We are not
Yeah,
doctors.
I'm not doctors. I'm just talking about a plan that I was on.
Be mindful though, he did stay at a Holiday Inn Express.
He did.
Yes. Yeah, and I
That
saved
does count.
a bunch of money on my car insurance.
By
But-
switching to vegan.
But essentially what it was is it's just like a high protein diet that you take your body weight in kilograms.
Oh, there's a math
Frickin'
involved?
British.
You lost me.
There's math involved. You take your body weight in kilograms and eat that much protein.
So what's the conversion
I think
from
that's
pounds to kilograms?
So every kilogram is 2.2 pounds. So I think it's like I don't know the reverse
This is what
math.
Flavor Flav was always talking about. Goddamn,
like, when I
kilogram.
started So when I started, was that? No, it's got to be a little different. I'd have to look it back up, but it was something. It's basically like kilogram, your body weight in kilograms, and then convert it to like grams of protein. And so basically, what I did is I would have a like a protein shake in the morning, and then I would have a protein, but I would have to drink it over like 2 hours. So it was like little sips over 2 hours, and then like take an hour break, and then I would eat a protein bar, and I would split that up over like 3 hours. So I would slice it into 6 pieces and eat one every half hour, and then I would have like another protein shake, and then I would have dinner. 10 bites of whatever protein, so it didn't matter, beef, chicken, and then 10, I say bites, but forkfuls, whatever you could fit on a fork. So it's a very scientific measurement. My doctor's like, I don't believe in like weighing things, whatever. He's like,
it's
forkfuls.
all, yeah.
He's like,
it's
everything
all
I
gonna
do
be the
is like
same.
forkfuls.
He's like, don't use a roast fork, though.
And then 10
shovel.
10 forkfuls of whatever vegetable I was having. And you'd be surprised how much 10 forkfuls of protein, and especially when you've been just like slowly eating like I was never hungry.
Yeah.
It was really weird just having like chocolatey things all day, like between your protein shake and your protein bars. Like they're all like, it was like kind of like eating junk food all day, if you like the taste of it. And
Yeah.
And then by the time I got dinner, I was like, I don't know about this 10 forkfuls thing, but I was full. Like, and then I would have like a protein bar for dessert. Like I could look it up a little more in detail.
Yeah, let me know.
And then as I lost weight, he just adjusted. So I was in contact with him every week, sharing my progress. And as my weight got down to a certain point, he would reduce my protein.
Mm-hmm.
Why though?
Because it's all relative to your body weight. Basically like
To constantly have that deficit.
I didn't even think,
Yeah.
And I don't know the whole scientific part behind it. All I know is like I could have. There's without a doubt I could have lost all the weight that I lost, up to this point without the surgery on that plan. And I knew that. And my main reason for going with the surgery is because I also knew that just based on how much I love food,
To be right back to where
that the portion control, which has always been my issue, would still be my issue. Like I could drink 18 beers in a few hours because my stomach could handle it.
But not 18
I can't.
cups of water.
I can't.
Who does that?
Yeah.
No,
I always think of that too. I'm like,
I would drink a gallon of water a day too.
Do you really?
Like,
Yeah.
Absolutely. But like now I can't drink 2 cans of like carbonated beverage back to back. I don't have the capacity. I can't eat 3 cheeseburgers. I'm full off a half cheeseburger. So I have that physical limitation now.
Right.
I can't do this.
But that diet,
Yeah, I last one day.
But that diet that, I was on, absolutely, like I said, I started middle of July is when I had, got on my diet plan. And by the end of September, I had lost 40 pounds.
Wow.
See, I went into the hospital last year for an intestinal issue.
Diverticulitis?
No, they never
that's
actually.
what I had.
It was the second week of lockdown. So
Oh,
they weren't going to do any kind of like real intrusive, or they were treating me with antibiotics, intravenous, and all that.
You probably definitely had diverticulitis then.
They put me in the surgical floor for, they thought it was my appendix. But the point of the story to get to was I think I was like 210, and then 4 days of fast with no water and no food, I hit my goal weight of like 189.
Yep.
Real quick. So when I left the hospital, I was just like famished, but I was like, oh man, I feel good where I'm at. And then they put me on this low residue diet, which was all white carbs, basically.
Mashed potatoes, pasta.
Seriously. So I'm like,
and don't get me wrong, that's really good and stuff.
yeah.
But
So I'm like, okay, so they're saying this is what I should be eating to avoid this kind of bacterial infection again. And I'm like, perfect. Crustables and white bread and toast and bagels. And
yeah.
now we're up to 215 again. And I'm like,
Yeah. Diverticulitis, that was, I suffer from that just recently. And the first time I got it, I went from because they wanted me to stay at the hospital for 7 days for the drip. And I'm like, I'm not doing it. Give me the pills. I'd rather take my chances at home. But I went from 257 to 189 in the span of like 2-3 months, maybe.
Wow.
it's like the devil wears Prada, right? I'm one stomach bug away from my goal weight.
Yeah.
No.
And,
Am I the only one?
Yeah, no, it took me a
Tell
second.
me I'm wrong.
yeah. But it's crazy because, diverticulitis is becoming a huge problem in this country. Huge problem. But looking at like that pink slime that's in my pipes that shows in my shower, that's going in your guts. Do you know what I mean? You start to see things in stuff, and so I only drink bottled water now, filtered water.
Yeah, my guts. Yeah, we don't. I don't.
Why do you have pink slime in your water?
Yeah, I know. It's like what did you say?
It's to coat the pipes, so they don't rust, and those kind of things. That's going inside your gut.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, if you don't rinse your tub regularly, like clean it,
you get the hard water stains and the rust and the iron and
the pink stuff is like what he's talking about though. Yeah. Like, and it's not all the time. Like I know my wife was.
It takes time to build up.
Yeah.
It's trace, but it's funny because there's a natural spring up the street that sometimes we go get water from. When I bring that water home and I pour that in someone's bowl for upstairs, they go crazy.
Now you're talking about dogs, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it's my kids too because I very rarely give them water. That's how we keep them in line. I'm like, no water for you today. This is like Dune. We go upstairs.
2 breads, no water. Tomorrow, 1 bread, 1 water.
Those two will never mix. Your mouth will be dry by the time I'm done with you. But yeah, it's like you look at some of the stuff that you eat and you're like, oh my God, I can't believe it. Like a McDonald's cheeseburger can last how many years?
Oh, yeah.
I know. I said like 3 of them.
Did you? I still
so
good though.
I'm still on protein shakes. So.
Yeah. I did the Burger King breakfast yesterday, the 2 for $5. And
yep.
Probably shouldn't do this.
Wow.
And then I had to do the gas station chicken today for lunch up the street, and I'm like, probably shouldn't do.
You on a health kick or something?
Yeah. Well, it's all protein. I love eggs, bacon, chicken.
I go to Pride to get their fried chicken.
It's wrapped. That's exactly.
Is that where you went?
No, I went to Jeffrey's Corner up.
Oh yeah,
the old 7-Eleven.
Yeah, it's basically Pride.
Yeah,
that was an account for mine for.
That's where I used to run into you
years,
all the time. I'm like,
that's what he was saying on the way out here. He's like, is he still working for that place?
I'm like Frito-Lay or Coke or something.
And he's like, I used to run into him at 7-Eleven all the time.
And then I get you down at the BP in Springfield sometimes.
Oh yeah,
when I was going to Connecticut when I worked down there, and I'm like, what the fuck you doing here?
Yeah, I worked for them for 13
Never
years.
really putting it together that you probably went to all these stores. It's part of your job.
Unfortunately.
You're just following you.
Yeah.
I'm like, hi, Dan.
I'm famous.
You're in line. I just go.
Yeah. Dan knows where the best gas station food is, so I'm going to follow him.
Well, I definitely know where that is.
I always had someone handing me my wallet out of my pocket. Hey, what's up, Jeff? How are you?
So you don't do video games, but what do you do to pass your time?
I work, but unfortunately, I cut trees sometimes. I cut firewood sometimes, but my passion probably, if I could do monetarily, which you could, but is woodworking.
Yeah.
I like to refinish furniture.
Nice.
Custom woodworking projects, like show me something, I want that out of wood, and I'll figure out how to do it. I just did a few projects for Paula, Brett's wife.
Refinished a hope chest for our niece, Paula's sister's daughter. She
it was a cedar, one of those
like a cedar hope chest
nice.
that belonged to my niece's grandparents. I don't even think she had ever seen it. The grandparents' house got sold, and they were going to kind of trash it, so we took it and we're like, no, we'll refinish that. My wife had this like vision, like I'm going to refinish that and I'm going to give it to her niece. Like when she marries or has a kid. And that's exactly what she did is we held on to it, sat in our garage for years, and I was going to do something with it. And then
then I get it.
Then our niece got, was expecting, and we're like, oh, well, we know Dan's awesome at this. So we dropped it off at his house, and came out fantastic. Actually, I'll share some pictures with you so you can put them up. The apps came out absolutely amazing. Did you have
took a few weeks of me laying in it with it closed before I could get a sense for it.
Yeah. And to get rid of the moths.
Yeah. Like, I got it.
But
did you have before pictures of that too?
I have before and after pictures of everything I ever did.
I'll have to get them from you,
including because I just did a rocking chair for an old I think they used to call it like a nursing rocking chair, but it had the lower handle so you could sit there.
Yep.
And this one had some kind of
stencil
work and everything, and the gold leaf around the tines and everything. And I got rid of all that crap and refinished it, but only from his direction or Paulo's direction, because I'm like,
Can you do me a favor? Can you grab that for me?
Yeah.
There's Mrs. Plouffe on there. Oh, we almost caught her. She will not come on air. Huh?
I haven't seen your mom-in-law at all.
Yeah, she's not here, honey. You're good.
But yeah, and then we got another one ready. I think a little table.
I've got the pictures pretty much all on my Facebook, which no one follows, so don't worry about it. But they're there.
Do you have a business page?
No, I don't. No, I tried to.
So if somebody wants to get a hold of you to do something, how do they get a hold of you?
Go through me.
Go through Brett.
Find him on Facebook. I'm not an A. I'm getting 10%.
That's fine. That's fine. I'll pay you.
He could be your middle guy. Tell you, you didn't want this job.
No.
Anybody who's ever like tried texting me knows that you'll never hear back from me.
You won't. You won't. So no, you can find me on Facebook or Instagram or throughout the 5 boroughs. I'm known. Forget about it. Ask anybody about Danny from
Montgomery Street.
From Montgomery Street. Forget about it. I walked the two neighborhoods. I hold my head up high.
Willimantic, forget about it.
Aldenville, it's mine.
He goes. I don't go across those tracks. That's the other side of the tracks.
They come to me. No, but I'll give you some pictures to put up, or whatever.
Just give them the Brett.
It's one of those things. Well, he's my agent. It's one of those things you sometimes find. Maybe this is yours, where no matter how long you're in it, you don't realize the time going by.
Yep.
So when my father was alive and I was young, we had heavy equipment, and he would say, go out and play, learn. And I could run a bucket loader and a dozer all day long and never get tired of it.
Wow.
And, and after he passed, I went back and forth in the industry for many years up until 2 years ago. But I always had this like woodworking thing going in the background too. And, Mr. Ondrick's class, Bellamy.
Shout out to Mr. Ondrick's.
Yeah.
Mr. Ondrick.
And then I wound up closing out my construction career for his cousin, the Ondricks.
Oh, really?
Yeah, over there. So, but like I can take a piece, I can see it. Like I can just see a piece of wood, and it just get a sense for this would look cool if I did this to it and that to it. And sometimes it works out, and other times I have firewood. It is what it is. So I was on a kick to get back to why I don't monetize or have a business page. I did have an Etsy page. I did have like a Facebook thing going, and I would make like rocking horses and chairs and deck chairs and loungers. Yep. And do you know how much it costs to ship stuff?
Oh, I know.
Etsy was great until people wanted to actually buy something.
Yeah.
And then I'd make a $200 chair, and it would cost me $300 to ship it, and I'd be out. So my marketing plan was not solid. My business plan, and that's.
You learn as you go.
But that's where I knew maybe if I monetize this, I'm not going to get the same satisfaction out of it. So let's just keep it for me, and and I'll do what I want to do when I want to do it. Or if somebody asks me to do something, I make those towel racks and ladder racks, and I made a big island and coat rack, any kind of rack.
Yeah.
Kind of got a rack.
Big fan of racks.
You're saying I'm the rack connoisseur. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
I like a nice rack. What I say.
Yeah. Some of the pictures you used to put on Facebook and stuff, just insane.
Yeah. I'm proud of
rocking horses. You did a bunch of rocking horses, right?
Oh, yeah, I did. Yeah, I did like 9 rocking horses total before I started actually getting a little bit of a following on the Etsy page and losing my shirt. And then I'm just like, things changed in my life, and I lost my shop, and I didn't go there as much, and things just got out of life took over.
Sure,
basically. So now I get back into it, and it's more relaxing and therapeutic than anything.
I always watch those videos on TikTok where they make the river table.
Oh,
they put the live edge in there. I could watch that all day long.
Love
that.
Yep, all day.
Yep, I follow a page on Instagram now, and it's some kind of rustic design site, and there's obvious reasons to follow the page. It's a beautiful page, but the hostess, she owns the company with her husband. Speaking of racks, just did an epoxy table like that, or cut a charcuterie board, and it was out of like this nice beautiful cedar, and it had the pocket in the middle of it, so they cut that out.
Oh, wow.
So now you just have the 2 mirror pieces, and they filled it with that blue, kind of like Christopher Walken style epoxy. And I'm like, man,
like the glittery.
Yeah, it's amazing. And you just tape off the edges and pour it in there and let it flow and do its thing and sit. It's gorgeous.
Yeah, some of the stuff that people do with that, like I followed a couple places, a couple of different ones, the places that make the epoxy, because they always repost the best ones.
Right.
And it's just mind blowing. Like something like these giant tables or desks where like it's live edge and it's like a 45-degree angle with looks like a waterfall going. That's just absolutely insane. Like how people do this.
And you have this 3,000-pound $3,000 20 run foot of timber that's probably 200, 300, 400 years old.
Yeah.
You know, and when you can actually see the beauty of opening it up, you appreciate the grain and just you look at it and you're like, this living thing saw more than I'll ever see in my life. So let's do it some justice. Let's bring out the beauty in that, and try to keep it as. Even with the projects I've done for Paula, I've tried to keep it as original. Like she, I didn't really know where she wanted to go. There was a lot of damage, a lot of wormholes, a lot of life keys or hammer or something on this hope chest, and I'm like, I think you should, because it had originally been glazed over with some stuff to fill that. I'm like, I think we should pop this out and let it live, because that's its true history right there.
Right.
Like this piece would fall out, person would fill it in. No, pop that out and let's let the wood have its time back. I don't know.
No, I love the way you put that. I mean, we talked
it's
about
like battle scars. It's
that's
street cred.
Yeah. I mean, that's the integrity of the wood. This wood has survived that.
Yeah.
Like I can sand a piece down to that forever and make it look like glass or something. But now are you handcrafting in an artisan level, or are you producing at a luxurious kind? I don't know. I lose my soul when I make it look like a piece of furniture you can buy in a store.
Well, that's what I was just going to ask you. Does your creativity get lost?
Yeah,
when you have to go do something like that.
I feel like I'm putting together an IKEA, which I'm very good at too. If people want people to put furniture together, I can do it.
Those directions.
Yeah. Well, fortunately, I speak Scandinavian. Husqvarna. Hey. But I do lose sometimes when I see an overworked piece or something, and I'm just like, if I could just sand that down and just clear coat it, it would be 1,000 times better to me than drowning in its finish.
Do you ever get like obsessed with a piece and you just got to start it and go till it's done?
Yeah, I've got pieces of wood just that I am just sitting on. Like I don't know what it's going to be for, and I know I'm going to use it. And
so you're willing to sit on that thing for?
I made my wife a table, like an island, out of family hewn oak from our lumber mill when my father and my grandfather were alive. We used to have a lumber mill, and the wood has been sitting in the mud at this time in 2015 for almost 30 years underneath my father's workshop shed.
Wow.
Just sitting there. So you take these beautiful pieces of oak, mainly because I didn't really have a lot of money, but I had the tools, and I said, well, what's better than, something coming from the heart and, work.
Sure.
And I would clean it all up, wire brush it all up, wash it down, run it through the planer, and just, you're taking off that, it's like shaving the beard. You're taking that gristle and that grain off, and you're revealing this wonderful piece of wood that looks identical to what it looked like this whole time, covered in mud. And that's magical to me, to like bring that out of something. And I'll use a piece of wood that is like just not the right thing. But I'll just keep working that and working it and working it. I did 3 pieces for John Gorska like that, 3 house signs to replicate a sign, I think, on his father's old farm or mother's.
It was something. His family, like out in Salem, that like
the witchcraft place.
Didn't realize that like his family had lived there.
Oh, that's
cool.
So
I had like this cool historical like sign on the front, and
he brought me pictures. He said, "Can you do this?" I said, "Yeah, I can do that." He said, "All right, do it." So I
build it and they will come.
Yeah, I sat there for a little while, and I kind of felt for it. And I said, "Well, do you want it rustic? Do you want it do you want me to go Home Depot and get some pine and just like make signs?" He's like, "Do what you want to do." So I had this chunk of plank oak, and I literally made my own board stock out of it and planed it down to the sizing I wanted and gave it to him. And he's like, "I want 2 more."
Wow.
So that that feels good. And
sure.
I don't try to make money off it. I really don't. And I just I enjoy doing it. So.
Now, did you always have this passion since you were a kid?
Yeah.
You weren't in. You were in Mr. Anders. What did you do in high school?
Actually, I went into welding.
That's what it was.
Metal fab and welding.
Yep.
So I would be a welder today, but when you lock your teacher in the tool crib the last day of your junior year, and Mr. Was it Vice? I think was it Mr. Vice before Whitella? Well, anyways, when you go up to his office,
Mr.
Gray.
Oh, Mr. Gray.
Gray.
Love that guy.
It was me and Sean Rooney
Oh yeah, well there you go.
I'm trying to get Sean on the podcast. We were just talking the other day.
And Kevin Kane.
Okay.
3 of us. No, Caribou. I'm sorry.
Caribou.
Kane was actually against it. It was Caribou. And we locked Mr. Gasnola in the tool crib on the last day. And he was all pissed off. Yeah, then we gave him the keys back, but then we had to go up to see Mr. Gray. And Mr.
You're
Gray
still mad. I don't get it.
knew my father personally. And he goes, I just had the unpleasant task of telling your father you have been suspended from vocational indefinitely.
Oh.
So I had to start my senior year and get all those college credits and everything just to graduate. So I learned my lesson, but I would be doing something creative with metal, probably like some kind of hybrid.
Yeah,
because I can see it. My younger niece, is an amazing artist.
Oh yeah,
part-time pyro. If anybody wants to check out her page. Where
not like a literal pyro. Okay.
No.
She a welder?
She's a welder.
Oh wow. Okay,
fantastic.
That's where
Fantastic.
The pyro comes from,
She's done a beautiful piece, a full dragon scaled.
Wow.
I didn't realize she did the sculpture at Chicopee Field.
Yeah, she did the Colt.
The
metal Colt that's inside Chicopee Field.
I've never seen it.
And when you first walk in, it's right.
Oh,
in
yeah,
the
right.
atrium.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, so I've never been. I used to.
Yeah.
That was one of my accounts.
Yeah.
I went in the side door and in there, so I never actually got to be in the front.
Yeah. So, but there's like a 5-foot metal sculpted Colt.
Once you walk in the Cusdell Stadium, there.
Wow.
It's right there.
But
she did most recently. She did a dragon with like all these little tiny sharp scales, like all the way down the whole thing,
really?
like with claws.
Welded, beaded ribs.
Yeah.
And like
the
bones,
knuckly
and,
claws
no kidding,
and stuff.
Huh?
Yeah.
And
amazing.
And I was watching it and I'm like, man, that's amazing. I wish I could do that. And then I'm looking at it, I'm like, man, I wish I could put like wood in here. Well, so I know I would have been somewhere in that realm of doing the same thing, but it's the same. People used to say, what do you want to do? Well, I used to write poetry. I used to want to be a writer. And then that got dark. So I said, man, let's put the pen down. And then I just started tinkering. And I used to say, I want to be a tinkerer, like just a fixer.
Sure.
And that's what I do. If you need something fixed, 9 out of 10 times I can fix it, or I can replicate or build it.
Yep.
Time is a different thing.
Bob the Builder.
Yeah.
Yes, he can.
Yes.
Well, that's neat because I have zero. I've always been impressed with somebody who can take something out of nothing and create these beautiful masterpieces. Like even like an artist like Bob Ross. I mean, that guy was insane.
Yeah.
I can't build anything. Anytime I fix anything in this house, I usually break it when I fix it, and then eventually I'll get it. But it takes me so long to understand. Do I need a screw? Do I need a nail? I don't know unless it comes with it in the package.
Well, and that's the thing. I think I don't know if they still do it in high school now, but they used to do like vocational testing on you to see if you were mechanically inclined or engineering or science or STEM and I always came out in the mechanical aspect of it, like art or mechanical.
Really?
Yeah. So like even in my younger years, I would just follow around my father and just watch him do things. And, I guess I picked up more than I wanted to admit as a kid, I'm
sure.
I don't even want to be out here.
Yeah.
At the same time. So, I contribute a lot to that, but some people are just naturally mechanically inclined. I don't think I am. I just think I've observed enough to like know how to do a lot of things because I meet people and I see true artisan and craftsmen and I'm just like, yeah, this is why I work behind a desk. So I think, and maybe that's true for every level of knowledge or confidence or that you get into a certain profession or hobby. You're probably like,
there's always going to be that admiration. I'm sure you look at plenty of other things where you're just like, this guy's a hack.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So like, that's how you find like your skill set and like, so you're doing the right thing is, you're constantly trying to absorb like the next thing that's better. Like, wow, now I admire this person, but are there people, where like you look back and you're like, man, I used to be really impressed with what this guy does, but now not so much, I know, so I'm, I as a hobbyist, I'm a screen printer, and it became a business.
It's really hard to draw those little black lines
for my family.
Keep them all straight.
Chalk line.
Yeah, if he's got a bad night, flies get right through that.
So like I remember like looking at like watching YouTube videos to learn how to do it, and being like, okay, this is, like this guy's amazing. And now I look back at that and I'm like, okay, that guy really didn't know what he was doing. Like this guy's way better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It exists on both planes though, because there's times where that guy that I'm looking at going, man, this guy's a chump. That's me. And I'm watching up against somebody that really knows what they're doing, or really knows the name of that tool and what it was invented, or really knows the wood. Like, my family's always been in wood, lumber, firewood, in that. So people automatically think, oh, you're a Martineau. You can smell that wood and tell me what it is.
It's in your genes.
No, it's only when I cut it, and then I got to get it out of my cuffs before I get yelled at. But
sometimes it's in his khakis too.
Yeah, I mean, it depends. Is it a Capri day? How hot is it in the
Today
in
I'm
the
wearing
sticks?
Dickies. I don't care. I'm
It's
doing
in
it.
your hammer pants.
Yeah. That's my magic dust. This is man glitter. But and I'll look at that person and compare them to myself and do a self-check assessment and kind of humble myself and be like,
Do a checkup from the neck up.
It's a good one right there. That was good. Well
Write
placed.
that-
Well
Write that
placed.
down.
Yeah, I've got nothing else. But you humble yourself and you're just like, man, that's awesome. This gives me a reason to want to learn to do this,
Right.
or keep exploring, or keep wasting time watching YouTube videos on it, or like Brett was saying, YouTube's been huge, especially now.
For me, yeah. This is how I learned how to do all this. I didn't know
Yeah.
how to do any of this
Yeah.
before I started. Like, first time I had to edit. Oh
Yeah.
boy, that was a frustrating day because they make it. Oh, just do this, and then but they don't tell you.
You Squarespace?
For what's that?
Squarespace?
What's
I don't know. I always hear like these. I'm big into the Headspace
Oh,
podcast
yeah.
stuff, and they're
Yeah.
always pitching these different, companies that help you set up your business, set up your podcast.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
It's, I guess
Oh,
one of those.
Squarespace does
yeah.
podcast stuff
I think
too?
so.
I don't know.
Yeah, I could be just.
We'll have to look it up. I
Oh, yeah, I
could
don't
use
know.
all the help I can get.
Yeah.
But yeah, even sitting down to do at first edit was just crazy, or how to retrieve it.
I'm not even sure. I mean, that looks like an Atari over there.
This right here is the space telescope right
3000?
here. Yeah.
It's the Beatmaster
This is-
100.
This is Hal. If you listen closely, he'll tell you that.
Man, I was going to say Johnny 5.
Will I dream?
I can't do that for you, Jeffrey.
What was that guy's name? What was he? The astronaut. What was his name?
Was that Roy Scheider? Wasn't he?
No. But what was his
Or-
name in the movie when Hal
Oh.
calls him his name? What's the guy's name?
Yeah, the line I just said, but I put
Yeah,
your
yeah.
name because I couldn't think of it.
Yeah,
Oh, I don't know. Yeah, it was Roy Scheider though, right? Wasn't it? Or
I think so.
The guy from Jaws?
No.
Yeah,
Yeah.
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 Yeah, I think it was.
Oh, that's gonna bother me now.
What is
Leave
his
a
name?
comment if we're wrong.
That's right.
I don't know.
Will I dream? Oh God, it's gonna. I'm not gonna be able to go to sleep tonight until I get
Where's your
that.
computer?
He's like, I can't do that for you.
Here, let's. Here, can you look it up for a second?
Hey, nice phone.
Yeah, you like that?
Yeah, that's all that.
Is mine a little bigger than yours?
Well,
Ooh,
that's
it's got some
genetics.
girth. It definitely
That's
has
what
a
she
girth.
said.
Yeah, well, you're older than me.
Yeah. So this actually changed the whole podcast because I was working on Audacity at the time and not realizing Audacity, it's really only made for one person. Now you can
The audacity.
Yeah.
you can layer stuff on there, but it's really difficult. It comes out like crap, and so I would listen to the podcast afterwards, and I would drive myself mental. I can't put that on, but then I'm talking to other people that have a podcast. They're like, no, that's what you do, and you get better at it. But you have to start throwing content out there. People will listen. You'll get better. And then I was I saw this on YouTube one day, so I emailed the content creator. He got right back to me. It was weird, like an hour later, and told me everything I need to know about this.
Frank? I actually don't know.
That's him right there. But what was his name on? It was Frank on the movie.
No,
That doesn't sound right.
His name was Kier DeLay, or that's his real name, and his name was David.
David
Bowman.
Dave. Well,
What?
yeah, he called him Dave.
Yeah.
Will I dream, Dave? That's what it was.
Yeah.
Oh,
Will
he's
I
about
dream
ready
how?
to shut it down.
Oh, yeah.
yeah. So it was.
Yeah.
He called him Dave.
All right.
It wasn't Roy Scheider. Why do I picture him in that movie? No, it doesn't matter.
We're gonna need a bigger boat.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe I'm just
Because you're
obsessed
obsessed with sharks?
I almost wore my Jaws shoes today. Actually, I'll have to wear them next week.
Jaws shoes, huh? They hurt your feet?
Yeah.
Oh, I think they're always you're nipping
Kinda.
at your toes.
Well, yeah, the teeth they wear down and fall out though.
But a new set comes in.
Yeah, it's
Shit's crazy. It's like rows of toes of
Yeah.
teeth.
So don't forget, I got to give you the JPEG so we can start making T-shirts. The new graphics, yep. And
so what are we putting on our T-shirts?
We're gonna go back to.
Listen. What are we putting?
Well, yeah. What are you? I'll be there in some capacity, either watching and having a beer.
Me every other week over there, whatever. Yeah. So we're gonna go with another logo because apparently I might have been copywriting it when I first started. Because that's part of the steps. Like you don't know what you can get away with, and then you read something like, okay, I gotta do the right thing, take it off.
Oh, for the name of the show too?
No, the name was perfect. The wife, she accepted that name years ago too. So I apologize every day for her.
She still can't handle it.
She had a long Polish name, so she went down to a nice short name.
Yeah, I'm in. Sign me up.
I'm like, you can handle the Plu Funny? She goes, I love you so much. So she had a huge, wicked long Polish name.
You didn't have to go to Plovsky?
No.
Oh, that's nice.
Nope. Yeah. Rode that fine line though. Because I thought her father, you always worry like, is he going to make me take his name? Because this is going to, listen, I love my family. I love my in-laws, but that's a long name. And hers is one of those Polish names where you get like stuck halfway through and you're like, I know there's a ski at the end. I just can't.
That should not be a G because it's a D and a J.
Yep. My daughter has a Jaju. I remember I got pulled over for speeding on 91 and the cop was really funny. He comes to my door and he's like, I pulled you over. And I did, but I'm not going to admit it.
You don't admit it.
And
because you couldn't catch me.
He goes, whose car is this? I said, it's my girlfriend's car. I said, I'm actually going to pick her up at work. I work there too. We switch cars. She goes home and I stay. So he goes, spell her last name for me. I go, you spell her last name. And he starts cracking up because I could hear him at first trying to pronounce her last name.
Yeah.
And that's what he asked me because it didn't seem right to him either. And we started laughing. And he handed me back my license and my registration. Nice. He goes, get out of here.
Nice.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
Like, no, you try it.
Just put the cuffs on me.
It's not as easy as it looks.
If that's the deciding factor, just arrest me right now.
Can I walk the line or something or do the alphabet backward instead?
Yep. So she, what were we talking about there I always get these brain farts as we start going from one end to the other.
Yeah. Well.
So wood. So is there a special kind of wood that you like to work on?
Oh, we just circled right back to that, huh?
Brought it way back, but yeah, that's fine.
We just broke the fourth dimension too.
We did. We just went plaid.
Did you hear that sonic boom?
Do you didn't get the memo?
You didn't get the flannel memo?
It was flannel night.
Yeah, I'm not good with flannel.
I have LL Bean flannel, like quarter zip ups like that.
Do you? I like this because
if you ever ask me to come back, I'll bring it. You're gonna have to wear it.
It hides my chicken waddle underneath my neck.
Your chicken waddle.
My fat neck. I almost look like that guy from 90 Day Fiance.
Get a red stripe tattooed.
Give me the baby.
Next time we have Scott on, I'm gonna go, Scott, can you do something with this here?
Maybe add some texture.
He would too. He would do it. Especially every time he saw me, he would just crack up laughing. It'd be worth every penny.
Yeah, it'd be awesome. You can get the face paint. It's huge on Thanksgiving.
Yeah, so other than your own wood, is there any type that you like to work with?
No, I'm a master. I'm not into wood. Sorry. No. Oak is really nice to work with. Cedar's a little tough and splintery.
Does that make it more challenging
to
go after that?
Yeah. And one of the softer woods you get, the easier it is to carve. But when you get into certain woods, and I don't know, this is where I'm like, I kind of have to play around with the wood first and see what it does. You can start taking too much off, and it starts coming off in like long slices rather than just like a hardwood. You can just kind of, sometimes you're fighting to get a freaking notch out of it or something. And so I really don't have an answer for that question. I don't. I just
figure it out.
Yeah. They all have their own personality, and I'm not trying to be cheesy on that because you get so far into a project, and if you realize what you're trying to do with it, you can't, and then you make that mistake. Like I was making a long coat rack out of a Douglas fir, 6 foot tall, and all that, and I was trying to age it because it was just a perfectly square piece of hewn wood from Home Depot.
Yep.
And I'm getting in there, and I'm like, this little notch like this, and like this piece like this came out.
Oh.
All right, so what do I have to do here? Because I'm almost 20 hours into this, and I'm like,
20 hours, and this happens at 20 hours.
Yeah, and now it's halfway through because, and so I just changed. You have to kind of feel the wood and kind of see where its veins go and cut out, and it's maybe that's the difference between me and why I find it therapeutic and I have a passion for it. Whereas opposed to someone would sit down and be like, fuck this, I'm not doing that. I don't even want to lift this wood, let alone try and carve it.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it's that, but 20 hours into that. And that was just a piece of wood. And I say piece of wood because it was literally just a 6-foot piece of wood.
Right.
But to get it, to shape it, to mold it, and I inset an old watch into
it came out really cool,
to the top of it.
Yeah, I had like an old watch, like embedded in the top, and it came to like a point, right?
Yeah,
it was
like a point, and I wound up taking
it's like an obelisk.
It was shaped exactly like an obelisk, and I weathered the sides to be like it was hewn by an axe, and then beat it with a chain for a little while to give it some integrity. But I took raw iron railings. So you know how they have those nice twist bulb designs, and I look at that, cut it, and I put it in the top of the obelisk, drilled it in, and it has like this nice point on it with this beautiful trellis work or twisted iron work that I didn't make, but the creative license, right?
Yeah.
But then it came down, and I had I built a leather umbrella rack kind of holder thing for it, but I used my elementary school brown leather belt.
Oh,
so I made this. I made this for my wife as well, and I had been sitting on these stainless steel furniture tags, nails. They were thick, like you would find on one of those old leather couches.
Yep.
And I always had them. I got them. I don't know where I got them from. I always had them. I said someday I want to do something nice with these. These are awesome. And then I was sitting there late night. I had already had the finish. It was dark. The grain was coming out beautiful. About 38 coats of clear on it, and I'm like, I just had my belt there because it's hanging in the shop from when I was like 12.
No kidding. That's cool.
It was all broken up and chafed, and I'm like, so I get a little idea, a few beers, some swing oil in there, and I start cutting it up, nail it in. I'm like, awesome. Something that's the kind of like personal things that I could just sit back and I might not get it done real quick, but it'll get done. And that was I felt connected to that piece. I really like that piece.
And how many hours did it take you from start to finish?
That one was probably about 30.
Wow.
The kitchen island,
really cool. It was really nice.
The kitchen island I built, that was almost 120 hours.
Really?
Yeah. And that's not 8-hour days. That's just doing it when I can, as I can.
Sure.
3-4 hours a night, till 1 o'clock or whatever. And so realistically, as I didn't have a plan and I didn't know how to do it, I just kind of winged it, and it probably could have been an easy 40-hour job for someone who had like an idea of how they're going to do it, how they're going to fasten it, how they're going to finish it. But for me, I had a stack of wood that was very dear to me and old, and I'm like, let's figure it out.
It's organic. I love how you say, like, you feel the wood, you understand the wood. Like, I think those are all, that can be very intimate.
Yeah.
And I wish I had that. I wish I had that, like, end result where I can say, I had that with that piece, like that piece meant that much to me. I just don't have it in me. I'm not, I'm the cutting bitch. So if somebody needs something cut or don't even have me measure anything, just put the line right there for me and I'll go do it.
Yeah. And
I'm good at it. Like, I'll make sure that piece is right back for you,
Oh, I have a funny story about that because I worked for a cousin of mine out of Westfield and love him to death. Reminds me of my father and everything. And we'd always have these battles because he'd be on the roof or cutting siding or shingling or something and give me the measurement. Go, cut that. I go down, I cut it, bring it up. He'd send it back down and goes, give me your fucking tape measure. I said, why? He goes, because your 48 inches is different than my 48 inches. And we put our two tape measures together, and they were.
Really?
Yeah. And I was like, I got this thing perfect. But my tape measure was tighter than his, and on the end of his was so loose.
Yeah.
It had like a 1/4 inch. So, and I'm like, you told me to cut it 48 inches. I cut it 48 inches.
I just actually saw that on home. what's this old house?
Yeah.
Where that guy was talking about the difference in the play at the end of a tape measure.
And some of that's designed.
Well, some of it's designed, and sometimes it's just over time because it's like a riveted thing usually. So it'll stretch a little bit.
Not to bring up sponsors or names, or I don't know if you can do that here, but like the standard Stanley tape measure that's been around in everyone's house for years, probably one of the best. Because when you put that little clip in there, it's designed to pull a little bit. And when it pulls, it sets the tape right at the edge of the wood because it compensates for the clip taking that up. And if it doesn't dig in all the way. So, a simple machine tape measure, there's actually a lot of thought into some of those. And, that was an eye-opening experience for me, though, because I'm like, what do you mean it's a different? And then he's like, give me that.
See, I don't make mistakes like that.
It was actually different. He probably thought that you cut it wrong.
I didn't cut it wrong. It's just I had a brand new tape and it didn't have any give.
Yeah. His is probably 40 years old.
Yeah. So, but yeah, you can, and it's the same thing when I cut wood. Like I'm not a logger. I don't by any chance want to be a logger. I mean, I would love to, but
I don't want to be a logger, but I would love to.
Yeah, I would love to.
But if anybody has any logging jobs?
Yeah, I'm good with logs and wood. And when you're cutting a tree, you get a real attachment to what you're doing there because you're felling and you're feeling at the same time. So that's a whole different aspect. I don't fell trees. I have, but I don't. But when you're cutting it on a wood on the ground or something, and it's like splitting wood, same thing. You kind of just see the material you're working with, and you can kind of tell where it's going to go, where it wants to go, and how to get it there. And that holds true with woodworkings too. You see where it is, where it wants to go, and how do you get it there.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Now, did you work on a lot of this stuff when you were a kid? Like when you were doing the welding, did you have that urge to work on wood at the same time?
No, not actually. Not a lot.
So how did that progress into that?
That's a tough one because when I started building Adirondack chairs, I think that really was it. Like when I was about 20, I was already past the welding and I was working in construction again. I was doing asphalt. And I saw this awesome broken Adirondack chair, and I'm looking at it. I'm like, I can make that. Why would I pay $200 for that? I can make that. And I bought a book, different plans, and made a bunch of Adirondack chairs and the little footstools. And my sister has one of the firsts, and I have the footstool still.
Is the footstool that would rock back and forth?
No, it wasn't.
Oh.
That.
No, but it's like arch. So like
it's arched.
Legs,
so yeah.
So
okay.
when you put it on the actual Adirondack, it comes up and it makes like that nice little flow. And I look at it and I'm like, oh, that sucks. But I was so proud of it at the time.
Hey,
so that brings it back to what we're doing, like.
So do you have a lot of your old stuff still kicking around that you look at and see the progression?
No, just pictures now.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously the stuff I made for my wife, I see every now and then, but no, not really. I just have the pictures and just the memory of it,
Yeah.
And I do a lot of one-off. Like I'm not going to build a bunch of different things. That's not I don't want to be a production line, which got me out of Etsy as well. I was like, okay, I could build 8 of these freaking rocking horses, and I don't really want to do this anymore. So it's like pick and choose now. Wine racks, pallet stuff, whatever.
Yeah, whatever hits your fancy for the day, and say,
And it's even better when someone says, "This is my idea. Can you do that?" Sure, I can do that. Now my middle daughter does wood burning now, so I mean,
oh, that's cool.
I could add a little, yeah, because my niece, the welder, part-time pyro, taught her how to burn in wood and that. And she's a great little artist herself, so I just haven't offered that. I don't want to slave her out yet. And, I don't want to pimp her out because she might not want to do that. I don't know. She enjoys doing it, but
See, we're building 10 rocking horses today, whether you like it or not.
And you're going to draw the damn eyes on all of them,
and no googly eyes.
These are zebras. See you next week. Yeah.
I've always been just absolutely just enamored with people that have that ability. I mean, I don't know. So was your dad the same way?
My dad was. He was a master carpenter.
And what about his dad?
He was straight out of Canada, logger, carpenter, heavy equipment. And my father built the house I lived in.
He whittled houses out of trees. Yep. It's like, oh, this house, I whittled this out of 3 trees.
Yeah. He's like, I just lost my train I thought it was so funny, but I couldn't remember where I was going with that.
This will do it too. You got it just until he stops talking, then it goes. Doom.
Your dad built your house.
But it was better than that. he built a house, and behind the house, I actually live in my old shop now. I created it into a tiny house, 300 square foot. Tiny house.
Did you really?
Yeah, and Brett's seen it through from day one of probably when it was built.
Wow. Originally
in the 80s with my father, which I just got a picture of me putting a roof on with him. I'm like, yeah, like 9 years old, and to what it is now, and it's all hewn wood from our family lumber mill when it was around.
Wow, you gotta send me some pictures.
Yeah,
I'm enamored with tiny houses.
What's up?
Wasn't the mill in Palmer?
No,
Belchertown.
Yeah, it was right.
I actually have a friend that's looking for a portable sawmill. If you have one,
I don't.
If you know anybody that's selling one,
Oh.
He says they might be hard to find right now.
They are, because a lot of people are getting into that woodcraft. There's a lot of down trees right now. But I look at it, and before I cut wood for firewood, I'm like, oh man. I'm looking at that. I'm like, it's got good knot. It's got good line, straight. It looks, the grain inside the wood, and when you're cutting it, just cross cut. I'm like, ooh, it's got a nice big red pot or something. Or patch, and I'm like,
but it'll keep the house warm for a day.
And I'm like, if I only had an Alaskan mill where I could just put my chainsaw and just run it down, it'd be fantastic. It's our show.
All right, we're taking over.
Yeah.
It's a takeover. Let's start with that bottle of wine over there. Where is it? Down the bottom.
It's the eat me, beat me lady. Pump up the volume.
I know. Talk hard. These are going to be the outtakes.
You can have bread and butter or bread and butter.
Are they both the same type of wine? Yeah. Yeah, what other Triple H quotes can we throw in here during the outtakes?
Triple H.
Happy, Harry,
Hard on. I know your name, not your face, but your game. I know you. Oh, talk hard, right? You already said that?
Yeah,
one?
I already said talk hard. Yeah, the Eat Me Beat Me lady. You were reciting her lines.
Yeah, I think one of the better ones was just the Leonard Cohen cover, or not cover, but the Leonard Cohen song in that.
Yeah, everybody knows.
Oh, it was great. It's fantastic. But the real gem in all that Christian Slater stuff, in my opinion, is Gleaming the Cube.
Oh, absolutely.
If you haven't seen Gleaming the Cube, good luck finding it, because you can't buy it or rent it.
No?
No, I haven't been able to buy it. It's on my watch list on every platform I can find.
By the way, Tony Hawk.
Yeah.
In Gleaming.
He was doing all the stunts.
He drove the Domino's truck.
He did drive the Domino's truck that he went under. Yeah. And who else was in that? I want to say was Jason Lee, I think.
Probably. He was a skater.
I think he played David Seville, too, in Chipmunks.
Did you say Gleaming the Cube?
Yeah. Gleaming the Cube.
Let's look this up.
We were originally talking about...
masturbation.
No, not at all. Pump up the volume.
Oh, yeah.
We went on a Christian Slater tear for a second. So we were talking about Pump Up the Volume, and then
Talk Hard.
Segued into Gleaming the Cube.
And now I'll bring it around with True Romance, which was...
Oh, great flick.
Another Christian Slater. And unrelated but related, have you seen Lords of Dogtown?
I have.
Yeah, so Tony Hawk was in that. It was funny.
Yeah.
He was as like the astronaut, but that was really cool, to see the up and coming of Zephyr Skate and the goat. Well, the goats.
The goat.
Yeah.
So True Romance.
Let me ask you.
When you had that, that was hands down one of my favorite scenes of all.
Oh no,
movies.
wait! You're talking Pulp Fiction with the watch?
No. True Romance.
No,
not when he has that kid.
Yeah, Walken was in Romance.
Yeah.
True Romance.
Yeah, remember he sat down with the father inside the trailer?
That wasn't Walken.
Yeah, sure it was.
No, I don't think it was.
It was.
I don't think it was. It was Dennis Hopper and...
Yeah, Dennis Hopper and Christopher Walken. He played the the gangster.
Armando Sant? No, not Armando
No.
Sante.
I'm 100% correct on this.
How do I type this? I
You
just
can't-
drew a blank.
You can't handle the ploof.
True Romance, Christopher Walken.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
True Romance cast. Gary Oldman. Brad Pitt. Christopher Walken. No
Yeah,
shit.
yeah.
Huh.
I don't want to repeat the whole thing. Anybody can watch it because it's kind of...
Yeah, but you can't not mention the Watch story.
Oh, The Watch
in
is the
Pulp
best.
Fiction.
Oh, yeah.
I'll give it a watch.
Yeah. He died of dysentery. He gave me the watch.
And now I'll give it to you.
He's one of my favorite actors. And then
You can't go wrong with Brando.
the Godfather. We got little Jimi Hendrix over there for some music.
Machine
and
Gun. One of my favorites.
Marilyn Monroe. Nice. Whoever did that painting actually thought about it. You know, it's a. They got it off Amazon, but you know the original.
It's evocative. It evokes thought and interpretation for sure. Yeah,
and I like the Marvel nod there with the jewel in the head.
Yeah, and ironically enough, I don't think
great
she ever did her
she
makeup
was.
like that. Like, I don't think she ever did her makeup like that.
No. Well, at the end she did.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow, what was the guy, the band that did Santeria? I always think
Sublime.
Sublime when I see like art like that.
Stuff, yeah.
It was tough, you know, trying to get everything together because I wanted it just right. I had I had a thought in my head.
Yeah.
But with me, it takes a little bit longer to try to work through all that.
That's not true.
And it does. It takes me a little bit longer. I'm not very creative when it comes to so I can't envision anything really. I have a hard time getting there.
You've narrated this conversation for the past hour and a half or hour wonderfully.
I'm just a fat slob in his basement doing a podcast.
Well, no, but you're
already said
scripting.
that You're a strategic thinker.
You're
you just
narrating
may not
it.
think you create. But so you may not think you're creative, but creating strategy
That's your
is
humbleness.
still being creative.
That's humble.
It may not be like artwork, but
Yeah.
even strategies are artwork. I mean, think about
Logistics.
strategic warfare.
Amazon.
Yeah.
Just think about that guy who wasn't creative,
Yeah.
but he designed the logistics department for Amazon.
Bezos is an artist.
Yeah.
So it's just a different kind of art.
Yeah.
So he puts it into wood and different types of organic materials.
Put it into wood.
I'll never forget when
He puts his wood into
Wood. Organic material.
organic.
What are you saying?
it's the way of life.
I
I remember sitting down with my wife and I said to her, I'm going to do this. And then I said to myself in the same thought, I'm like, who's going to listen to this shit? You know what I mean? But
101 people.
I just said, we just got to 101 subscribers. So thank you very much for that.
That's awesome.
I'm very humbled by 101 people want to listen to what we have to say.
My name is Dalmatian. So as I mentioned, I listen to a lot of Headspace kind of so I remember watching the first couple episodes of Rogan's podcast. I don't know if you ever listened to Rogan.
Yeah, I love.
Yeah.
They're terrible. The first couple
they're
ones,
awful.
And to hear his stories and how he describes them.
They're
The
awful.
best you've ever heard.
Yeah.
And you watch them, and I think he's up to almost 2,000 episodes at this point. But and it's like a rotation of every 3 or 4 episodes is the same comedians, and it's like, wow, how did this gain momentum and steam beyond that? And you're experiencing it now. So I mean, what is that like to you get a new subscriber, you're like,
Yeah, what's the fame? How do you handle the fame?
yeah,
It's tough. I just take it one day at a time.
Kickboxing now.
And I just don't let it get to me.
You
It's
got
funny.
the same hairstyle as Rogan, so I mean, there's got to be a formula.
Yeah,
Wait, I think, did he have hair when he started his podcast?
he did.
I think he did.
He did. I think he did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, it's
So you're already one step ahead of the game.
You are.
I know. So I got an email on whatever day was it Saturday I texted you, and it was like, congratulations, you got to 100 users,
Now you
100 subscribers, and I'm just like,
You can start pushing trigger girls.
and most people would be like,
Peeking out the window like paparazzi here.
I don't go by the windows because people are I gotta dodge.
I'm in my house in the daytime with the shades drawn.
I didn't ask for this, but it was. So when they sent me the email, I was so happy,
Yeah.
but at the same time, 100, because we got another one on Sunday, so I made 101. But 100 people actually take time out of their day to hear. It's incredible.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, you got to support that stuff too. I mean, I don't know if you knew Jeremy Goff.
Jeremy Goff.
You know
No.
Goff. He does Goff Stock.
Yeah.
He does a live music streaming.
Wow.
Started, I think, the week after lockdown, and he just hit his 52nd
Oh wow.
on Facebook.
Yeah, he just started playing music on Facebook Live.
Yeah.
Oh no kidding.
Once a week or whatever, and he called it Golf Stock, and
He named it by week, and he's at 53 coming up, and then he's spun off and does a Disney show every now and then, and plays guitar and he sings, and
Sure.
and it's fantastic. And I don't know his gross number of viewers or all that, but there's almost a little community of it already. And I'm one of his top rated fans. I'm like, man, I skipped 38 weeks of this. How am I? So but the same people I'm watching. I'm like, man, this is kind of cool. I like this format. I like this way of connecting with people. I just for me to sit down and put a piece of wood on a camera and be like, hey, this is wood. You know, so you are creative because you're creating space for people to think and talk and explore conversation. So it's just a different type of creativity.
Yeah, the woodworking live stream probably not as the time lapse ones are much more effective for woodworking.
I'm going to use my number 10 chisel right now.
Hit it.
Yeah.
Now, stroke the wood with the sandpaper.
Harder. It's funny.
How come they all come out with a bold tip?
Yeah. Use a rougher grit.
Yeah. So as you're doing this, and I'm sure it's the same in your world, like you start to finally, like I now finally see my vision and where I want to take this. Yeah. So, but it's taking me, this is the 23rd episode, I believe. So it's
23 already.
Yeah.
I gotta admit, I've only seen 6.
Oh, you got those are rookie numbers.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I shouldn't even be here. I'm half an episode for me, and I gotta
That's
go.
It. Get out of here.
We're gonna have to edit all this out.
No podcast for you.
Sorry, there's no episode this week. Our game.
We thought you were a super fan.
Our guest was lame.
Yeah,
and you know what's funny?
We're no Jeremy Goff.
Goff, if you're out there.
Yeah, we love you.
Yeah, shout out to Goff.
Went to our first. Oh, he was at one of the great fish shows with us in Hartford.
I don't remember that one, but you told me that.
Yeah.
He goes, I heard I was there.
Yeah.
But
I heard I was there. I heard that a lot of. I heard I've been over 60 fish shows. 50-50.
50-50.
Been to half of them. Or I was there for half the time.
Your mother, Trebek.
But, you know, I have some friends that when I started doing the podcast have their own podcast.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I was able to go on their podcast.
Yeah.
They came here to help me break the ice. And one of the cool things I like about it is there's no competition. Like, there's more than enough room for all of us.
Yeah.
And to support each other. Like what my buddy Mike's doing, Locals Only Podcast. Shout out to them. It's incredible what he's doing. And I've seen his progression since he started, you know.
Is it Locals Only like a dating kind of podcast?
Kind of.
Oh.
I think he is single.
No, I'm not looking for. I'm not looking for.
Oh,
a man.
I don't know if you were asking.
No,
I was trying to be your wingman.
Is this like the dating? Like
he goes, give me his number.
Yeah, you don't need any help. You can just message him right through YouTube.
Next on Pillow Talk with Mike. Locals only.
And then
I mean, no offense.
And then I have another friend that does a musical podcast. He deals with like Black Sabbath, like he knows those guys, writes all sorts of stuff for them. Those guys jumped right in. They're like, let's show you how to do this. So I had that support, which was kind of cool. And then Matt jumped in for a while with school. He's going to be in and out a little bit. And then Brett stepped up and said,
I think Brett's been here every week.
I can do this every week, you know. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah, I was a guest. I'm like, you know, whenever you need somebody, I'll come. And so every week.
So I think my wife was hitting on you the other day.
Oh, yeah?
We were watching a podcast with Rich Davio, and my wife goes, he's very worldly. And I go, are you hitting on Brett? She's like, no, I didn't say that. I'm like, you just said that.
He roams around the world.
I feel uncomfortable when Brett comes over.
Yeah.
You can just have her call me next time. It's fine.
And that's why the dogs paid special attention to
Will
you.
you be my wingman for your wife, dude?
The dog looks at me and she's like, usually this guy, you're at work when this guy comes over.
What's her favorite food? Brett's going to show up with like a creme brulee next week.
Yeah.
Here, Mrs. Plouffe. I'll be like, damn it, I knew it, Brett. God. Those t-shirts better be coming to me for free.
The mic's mine now, Jeff.
He goes, Jeff,
Hey, Jeff, you want to be a guest on my podcast?
This week on You Can't Handle the Plouffe. I did.
He goes, I did your favor. I put all your stuff outside. Sorry.
If you could keep the big spot open for Brett's truck.
After the podcast, can you take all your stuff in the driveway and put it in your car?
Just leave this.
Yeah. Leave your beatbox.
This actually has sound effects.
Your bop it.
It's my favorite one right there.
Oh, I like that.
That's my favorite.
Yeah.
Whoa.
That's suspenseful.
You never know when that's going to come out. That's when I have those shitty jokes.
Even shittier joke.
That's when the guest has a shitty joke. This is like iCarly. I love it.
The original podcast.
Yes. This is great.
Oh my God! I used to have to sit through that nonsense show.
Oh, we still watch it.
Whatever. Do you really?
My 19-year-old son started rewatching it.
Yeah.
Wow.
When you space your children
And
out so they never leave the show, like my 18, 15, and 6, they'll probably all watch the same shows over and over again, and you can't get away from it.
Yeah, my 19-year-old specifically started rewatching it, and now my 10-year-old likes what they watch it, and I don't mind watching it. Like that show was actually pretty freaking funny.
And what was the one with the when she had the two brothers?
That was Drake and Josh. We were just
Drake and Josh. I love Drake and Josh. Those kids were funny.
Those guys were awesome. No,
oh, you gotta watch them.
That's worth
Great.
watching.
Yep,
great show. Now Miranda Cosgrove was on that prior to what were we just talking about? iCarly.
iCarly, yeah. I saw not Cheaper by the Dozen. Yours, Mine, and Ours, the remake.
Don't know that one.
With Rene Russo and the guy from Day After Tomorrow.
Pullman? No.
The live one from Day After Tomorrow. Dennis Quaid.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And Miranda Cosgrove was one of the kids in that, and I'm looking and I'm like, it looks like an 8-year-old Miranda Cosgrove, because we just went to Florida a couple weeks ago and we were watching iCarly. Not that I'm weird like that, but it was fresh in my mind.
Get out of the room, Daddy's watching iCarly.
He doesn't just watch it in Florida. He watches it here too.
Yeah, it's like living Maddie. You can't get away from it.
Zach and Cody, all those.
Yeah,
I can remember when
Jesse.
What was oh God, I forget her name.
Alyssa
Hannah
Milano.
Montana. I thought that was going to be like our daughter's. Like
I saw her.
Yeah,
in
real
Miami.
life?
Yeah.
Oh God,
I was walking back from a package store at a convenience store, kind of package store.
Is that
Miley Cyrus?
Miley Cyrus, yeah. And I'm walking down the street back out to the beach to go, go out and enjoy a beverage. And I'm like, all these paparazzi are sitting there at this, because they funnel you through and you got to go through the beach walk there. I'm like, what do you guys? I'll talk to anybody. I'm like, what the hell are you guys looking at? Miley Cyrus smoking a joint up there. And I'm like, no, sir. He's like, look. I'm like, oh shit. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know her, but I would say that's her. And they're all taking pictures and everything. I'm like, oh, that's cool.
You're just like, I got to catch an elevator.
Yeah.
Well, I thought we found.
Watch out. She comes in like a wrecking ball.
She does too. I thought we found like our daughter's someone to look up to. I'll never forget the day I came back in the living room. I said to my wife, "Nope, she's done.
That's over.
Going off the rails."
That one off,
yeah. First Demi Lovato, now that one. Got both out.
They all do it. Demi was on Joe Rogan's show. Yeah, that was a great podcast.
It was awesome.
She's so truthful, and it was.
I actually resonated with me in a lot of ways because of some of the things that I'm going through and some of the ways I'm trying to handle it now and different avenues and trying to like clear out the headspace myself. And I found her vulnerability in the way Joe actually questioned her and spoke to her about it openly without like dodging the question.
Yeah.
Like he asked the question everyone wants to know, and
she came right out.
Tell me about your freaking overdose and all that. And I found it very enduring, and I'm like, that's pretty cool. Like I can actually connect with what she's saying and a lot of this stuff. And I found respect in that, because I don't like, I mean, everyone has their problems. You never want to treat someone bad or anything. You don't know what they're going through in their fucking head, in their real life, in their head. So a lot of these celebrities are just like, oh, I had a rough time. I had to go to rehab. I had to clear my head out. And it's like, no, dude, live up to what happened. Talk about it. Let people know. It's not just us down here in the regular world, but it's also you superstars, and you know, and I find power in that for them to actually be able to share stories like that openly, because they are a role model. Like they are setting a tone, and it may not.
I'm dealing with this like a normal human,
right?
And like,
yes, I was a superstar at 15.
Yeah,
and your daughter loved me,
and there was a lot of stress.
Could you imagine what that pressure is like to be that young? I mean, I can remember with my daughter, the pressure that she didn't have, but could you imagine going to work every day, being like millions of people? Oh my God.
Well, I think of all these Disney shows that, I watch with my two girls, and I'm like, my daughter, one of them is that age, like 15. Like, I wouldn't want her going through all these. It's tough.
Do these parents, I wonder if they're caught up in the fame so much as then they forget what they're going to be going through.
There's a great deal of that. If you look at
vicariously,
I think parents get overcome with like that. I mean, everyone wants their children to do great things.
Sure.
So what is your reaction when your child truly does? I mean, everyone's definition of great is different. I mean, I think all my kids are doing great things. Are they doing these? And I can't discount it, so it's a fine line, but let's just say that when your child achieves fame and fortune, whether or not you consider that a great thing or not. Okay. you want to ride that wave just like any other time your child is doing great things. But do you consider, I mean, the amount of pressure that you may be putting on them just through, inherent expectation, just because, it's like, oh, mom and dad are really proud of me, so I got to keep this going because this is what makes them really proud. Okay, so then there's that part, and then obviously there's the whole...
Yeah, then you go bilateral.
Every part of
the parent that's going,
working
no,
for.
You need to do this so you can set yourself up
then
for
it's
the
like,
future.
And it's like, this is your job. And it's like, okay, I'm 8. I don't know why I have a job.
I just want ice cream.
Yeah.
I just want ice cream, and,
it was fun for
with
the
my
first
friends.
couple days I did it.
Exactly.
Now this is...
So like there's, and I mean, it just historically, if you look at where childhood actors have gone, especially
Many
the ones
aren't
that
good.
started,
Well, they were good, but
really
the
young.
stories aren't good.
Sure.
None of those stories are good, and a lot of them are dead.
Pick a Corey, any Corey.
Yeah. Pick a Corey.
Like, this should be like the parents are going to go, okay, we'll go ahead and do this, but we're going to sign you for therapy at the same time.
Yeah.
That would be the right thing to do.
Or the right thing to do is be like, we're just not going to work that much.
Right.
We're, I mean, but again, and I don't think it's the kid being like, yes, let's go make another movie. Okay. But, as the custodian, that they're all entered into those agreements, and the parent is in charge up until they're 18 for the most part. So,
right.
But at the same point, I mean, Macaulay Culkin did live with Mila Kunis for like 9 years.
That is true.
So there are benefits.
Have you seen Macaulay Culkin recently?
Exactly. That's my point, though. And he just had a baby with...
If living with Mila Kunis
baby with
does
someone.
that, I don't...
Yeah,
I
maybe
don't
we
wanna live with Mila
should second
Kunis.
guess that. Yeah.
Mila, if you're watching, you're out. I've seen Macaulay Culkin.
I've seen Horrible Mom's Christmas. Or something.
Dan's
I think
in.
that's a movie. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's the pressure. Thank God. I mean, I'm going to experience that soon. One of these days I'll experience that pressure. But to be that young, you can't process all that at one time.
I mean, kids at 16 can't even like...
You're not even set up to do that.
They can't even handle a part-time job at 16.
They can't handle
mentally.
the ploof.
They can't. They definitely
That's
can't
right.
handle
You
the
can't
ploof.
handle it.
So
says so in the title.
who says at 8 that you can handle,
Fame,
all that
fortune, and
pressure? I mean,
business decisions.
There's plenty of people who got into acting, and in the entertainment industry as adults and lost their shit because of the pressure. And now you're putting that, like, it's just there should be, and we're getting on a real tangent here, but there should be,
let it out.
There should be laws and stuff, around.
I'm surprised that there's not, because then you have those kids that
there's too much money associated with it.
Yeah,
that go off the rail, and then you have the other ones that the parents have taken total financial abuse of them.
You got Britney Spears.
Free Britney.
Still,
She's
she's
in
dealing
her
with this
40s,
stuff.
and she still can't make decisions. I think just now, her father.
She was just able to.
She's fine. I mean, who hasn't burnt down their in-home palatial gym?
Who hasn't shaved their head?
I thought about it a few times.
But is that all because the person, she's 40-something years old, and if she truly does need someone else to make decisions for her, then maybe the state should appoint that.
I mean, she owns up to it. She's like, "Oops, I did it again."
Yeah, oops, I did it again. She said that very early on.
I mean, she's not trying to be a pariah.
Yeah. She was very apologetic.
She told you what you were getting.
She was very apologetic.
Oh,
oops. Yeah.
Edit.
Yeah. So this is the first moment of silence since we started here.
The awkward moment of silence where we just gazed in each other's eyes for a second.
But that's where you grow. I mean, seriously, that's where you grow.
Yeah, we're actually we were just meditating for a second.
Yeah.
So where else can we go with this?
Oh, I thought we were still.
I still can't believe you don't play video games, but that's okay.
No, I have.
I'm hooked on
I'm
that.
sorry.
Well, I don't, so I will definitely admit that.
No, I think you probably have a better life. You've seen the world through ocular lenses. I mean, I don't downplay it at all. If I could do it, I would. I just can't.
Yeah, it's like, I mean,
the most exciting game I ever played in a person to person was when you could bring two Xboxes next to each other and do like Halo.
Oh,
and
Halo, man.
you get you get into like a duel or something, and you get with that one asshole you're playing with who's always just sitting there sniping you.
I remember when Halo first came out, I would come home, my son would be at the door, just give him that nod.
Yeah,
let's go. Get in the living room, and
that's where LAN parties originated.
And try to get as far as we could for the night, and then he'd be over there kind of passing out, be like, all right, tomorrow we'll get to the next round, and we'd repeat this, rinse and repeat for weeks.
I tried Halo, tried it,
yeah,
sucked at it,
didn't
like it, just couldn't get into it. It's It's crazy. Like I envy it because like I can't say I wish I had that, you know, but it's something like.
Yeah, but look how fun it is. Look at Grandma Boy as a movie. I mean,
Grandma's
how fun
Boy.
was that?
That was a good.
What was
his?
I forget the Marilyn Manson looking.
I don't know. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, I think it was Adam Driver.
Yeah, but he was thinking about having, you know, his getting robot legs.
You could do this.
But no, like I always want to like understand things, you know, like I like to become like a master at all things, or not a master, but at least have a healthy understanding. And
well,
like,
you are very worldly.
Like,
yes.
I'm worldly, yeah. But
the beard.
every time like I try to play a video game, like my kids all play, and I log on, I'm like, yeah, I want to understand, and right now I just understand that this sucks.
Dude,
like,
Tetris is still hard.
I just like Tetris.
Yeah.
I like Tetris, but I suck at that too. You know,
the music starts meditating. I'm like,
Paula, my wife, she's like a Tetris master. Like she can play it with her eyes closed. She's like, she's look like you. She's like, hey, you know, let me order a pizza. You know. And
in fact, I've already ordered one.
Yeah.
I get worried that little light that just goes off, the switch that flips.
Yeah. Your career dissipation light.
Yep. When that
What's
flicks,
that
I don't know.
You see that little light right there? Your career dissipation light going into overdrive. It's a Baldwin film
Oh,
with
yeah.
Jennifer Jason Leigh.
I never saw it.
I don't know which Baldwin. Alec, I think. Backdraft.
Oh,
Kurt Russell.
great movie.
That's your
Career dissipation light going into overdrive because he's trying to solve the backdraft.
Oh,
And the fire chief person's like,
yeah, okay.
you better slow your roll.
I just watched
there."
that not too long ago. Too.
Yeah.
That's probably why it was like sounding so familiar, but I couldn't picture it.
Well, I got a text the other morning from Ryan.
It's both. It's two of the Baldwins.
Is it? I don't know.
Or no, Kurt Russell and then the Billy Baldwin.
Billy Baldwin.
Yeah.
And then I got a text
Oh,
message
Billy.
from Billy.
Yeah.
From Ryan at like 6:45. Was it this morning? I don't even know. Yesterday morning, this morning. You ever seen Rush? I'm like, oh, fuck, love that movie. Jennifer Jason Leigh and
Yeah.
Jason Patrick.
That was one of his first movies.
Yeah.
Just back
And
then.
I'm like, that was a great movie. I'm like,
Little
kind of
Eric
early to be
Clapton on the
watching
soundtrack.
a movie, though. And he's like, no, this had Thor in it, and he was a race car driver. Nope. I sometimes forget there's a 11-year difference between us.
He goes, hear crickets chirp. No, I don't know what you're saying, man.
No, I'm pretty sure that was about drugs.
Well, this room used to be a theater room at one time. And the screen was right here, covered from wall to wall, 140 inches. I would have to get up at like 5 o'clock in the morning because nobody would want to come watch movies with me. So I was such a movie buff at the time that I would come down here, watch a movie by myself or two, and then they would get up, go do breakfast. But that was my thing.
Then you'd go to video games.
Saturday was
screen.
movie. Oh, so I did play.
I would think that would be awesome.
No, it
Most
for-
projectors can't keep up.
yeah,
Frame rate.
Yeah.
And stuff.
frame rate, and then it took me a long
Do the-
time. Huh?
So that was a.
Yeah, projectors playing video games. Wah, wah, wah.
Yeah, I would get motion sickness after a while.
Oh, really?
So then I had to go back to a monitor, play on a monitor, and once that happened, I was much better. But it got too much because the field of view that you had to look was just too much. I needed things more
Yeah. Okay. I
more
get
local
that.
down. Yeah.
Yeah.
But the first couple times I played, the guy was as tall as me.
Christopher
Here.
Walken.
And so being able to play that was crazy. And then finally I said, I can't do this anymore. I'm gonna have a seizure.
Yeah, it's intense. Like, playing, even watching movies on, like, especially like when the picture gets, a really good quality picture. Today's projectors.
I never got a picture like that, so I don't know. I just
Yeah,
He's still on 320p or whatever it's called, 320i.
yeah. I'm watching it on a Kindle.
You hear his TV's clicking.
I slide it over to Z. Why don't you go into the arrest story at your father's house when we were playing video games?
Oh, no one got arrested. Well, we were talking about video games. Well, yeah, we were talking about Mario Kart, and so yeah, we'll bring that. We'll recircle that. So there was I don't know when this was. Well, it was when Nintendo 64 and Mario Kart were rather popular, I guess. And so my parents went away for a week or a weekend or whatever, and
Party.
yeah.
Nerds.
So it's I had a couple parties. I was in my 20s, I think. It wasn't a big issue, but it's still several years ago, and big screens were pretty new, and I've always been into electronics. So even like when I didn't have my own home, I outfitted my parents with the best electronics so I could benefit from them when so
are we talking about a projection TV?
Yeah,
or?
projection
Okay,
TV.
yep.
So 52-inch projection, which was
the
state of the art at the time, with a badass amplifier and surround sound, and
cozy leather chairs.
Cozy leather chairs.
Those.
Yeah. And so it's middle of summer, and we got every window, skylight, everything is open, and we're playing Mario Kart at like
awesome level
at like midnight.
Craig Stefanik.
Okay. Yeah, we don't want
Me,
to. We don't
Jeff
want,
Litwin, Brett. We're just four of us sitting in this house.
There was like 8 of us, maybe.
Maybe.
It wasn't like a raging party. But we were just like we were in. I mean, if you've ever played Mario Kart, like Rainbow Road.
Oh yeah.
4 player on a big
pinnacle
screen.
of racing.
This is like the pinnacle in Nintendo 64 time, right? So, my father watches this, dude. So there's a knock at the door, right? I'm like, what the hell? So I go to the door.
We obviously didn't hear any cars pull up.
So this is where it gets even weirder. Of course, we're being all clowns. So I was drinking, I don't know, screwdrivers, I think, or some kind of mixed drink out of a Denny's carafe that had been acquired.
Sounds about right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that Denny's carafe was also handcuffed to myself, so I wouldn't lose it. Okay, so I had my left hand with a Denny's carafe full of a mixed drink, and so, but I'm like 22, 23 years old. I don't
At
know
home.
at home.
Fuzz ain't gonna get
So I
me
go
today.
answer
I'm
the door.
prepared.
And, cop's like, hey, how's it going? I'm like, hey, how are you, officer, whatever. And he's like, can you do me a favor? Can you come out side for a second?
We're still playing.
No, thank you.
So,
I got the trigger grip. I'm like, turtles
like,
flying all over the place.
So I'm like, absolutely. So I come out and if you've ever been to my parents' house, they kind of have like two different driveways in one. So there's like a front door, and one driveway is kind of level with that, and then there's a lower driveway that kind of goes into a garage. So the officer was parked on the end of the lower driveway. So he leads me down the stairs to get to the lower driveway, go there, and we're standing by his cruiser. And so I'm in my neighborhood, and it's a dead-end street, and, and we're looking around, and he's kind of looking at me, and I'm sitting here, and I'm drinking my carafe of whatever, and he's like, hey, let me ask you something. I'm like, yeah. He's like,
You ever seen a grown man naked?
yeah. You ever
You want to see a dead body?
Yeah. He's like, you hear anything? And so another thing,
Is this a trick question?
yeah.
Yeah.
So another thing that interesting of my neighbor, especially if, like from where you're staying at my parents' house, because there's like a little offshoot that's also a dead end. It's like a small court.
Makes it an amphitheater.
There is an echo. Like you can clap your hands from my parents' driveway and you hear echo, like
wow.
the way the neighborhood is, and all you could hear was like just Mario Kart, like echoing in every direction. And I was like, so the cop's like, do you hear anything? And I'm like, and then of course it's all I could hear. I was like,
I would have denied it anyways. Nope, I don't hear anything.
no, and I'm just like, yeah, I'm sorry. I'm like, I'll turn it down. He's like, could you at least just close the windows, man? And he's just like, I'll be honest. He's like,
This is a first for me.
no. He's like, the first 2 calls, we ignored it. He's like, by the 3rd and 4th call, we just had to come see it. And
Now,
he's
mind
like,
you, this is the same neighborhood that Brett hosted my 21st birthday party in, and we had a live band playing in the yard for hours that never got the cops called.
Really?
Yeah.
yeah. So
It's those video games.
Yeah.
They're up to no good in there.
there's no damn video games.
Gotta rot your mind.
They're probably in there on the pot.
The pot.
They were smoking the reefer.
Marijuana cigarettes.
Devil's lettuce.
The devil's lettuce.
Probably sacrificing babies in there.
Yeah. But yeah, so I had the cops called on me for Mario Kart. Yeah,
that's the best.
Probably that's record books. Probably,
That
was a good one.
It was entertaining.
Those are fun times, man.
Yeah.
That's when you know you're doing it right.
Yeah,
Because
it was like you couldn't even hear a voice. Like there was no rager,
No screaming.
It
no
was the
yelling.
It was the best phone call. And a guy's like, just close the windows.
he goes, I don't want to have to come back for this
Yeah.
again.
I'm actually embarrassed for you. How many guys are in there with you?
He brings a pencil protector for you. He goes, you need one of these, man.
You're gonna need one of these.
You trying to get someone to the moon? Nerds.
right, we are at almost time here.
Already?
1 hour and 51 minutes, sir. It goes by quick.
Wow.
Yeah.
It does.
So speak now and forever hold your peace. Well, man, I thank you very much for coming down. This was an honor to have you here.
It was fun.
You're more than welcome to come and hang out and be on the show anytime you want.
Be afraid of what you put out there. Just, karma's a bitch.
Well, we let Brett on here without good security, so you know.
Well, he's a little more put together.
Well, I'm more worldly.
Yeah, worldly.
You are very worldly. And don't you dare even look at my wife when you go upstairs.
I'm a chick-a-hole.
I've been
stuck in chicken-bee.
I don't need this kind of pressure.
Now I know. I'm going to give her the eyebrows.
Yeah. He's gonna maybe unbutton the top.
He's going to walk in. He's going to have that swag.
How you doing?
Just before he gets out the fence, he's going to turn around.
I put my business card on here. You want your wiper?
I'm like, you bastard.
See?
I'm going to re-snap.
So
More effective if I go up unsnapped.
This podcast is definitely dedicated to animals and the adoption of animals, especially dogs, because I love dogs. But so Rainbow Rescues with an S, rainbowrescues.org is our rescue that we work for. So if anybody can please drop something in their Venmo. I don't know if they even have Venmo.
You want like a dog?
No, the dogs.
I don't want another
dogs
dog.
Don't have
Dogs
Venmo.
don't-
They have
Yeah.
bones. Give her some bones.
Yeah, throw them some bones.
So whatever you guys can do to donate to rainbowrescues.org, we appreciate it.
Bone.
Brett, tell them what time it is.
8:14. Oh no, sorry. As always, just want to shout out to my family business, IQ Inc. IQ-Inc.com. Screen print, embroidery. We can print on anything from 1 to 1,000 plus pieces. And of course, always give a shout out to my son's entrepreneurial venture, Blue Bee.
Big word.
That's worldly.
Kids grinding.
Worldly word. BlueBeeApparel.com can also be found on TikTok,
Tic-tac.
Instagram.
That's close.
And
Gotta look really
Facebook.
close at
Yeah.
them.
Yeah, it's real small. It's only 10 calories.
What is this, an ant for school? A school for ants? It's got to be like 3 times bigger.
But limited release drops every couple months. New collection, I think, just got announced, dropping soon. Don't remember the date, but pre-orders coming up. The Bebop collection from Blue Bee Apparel. Check it out. Again, TikTok, Blue Bee Apparel, and also bluebeeapparel.com. And that's all I got to say.
Yeah, and if
Beautiful.
you want anything made out of wood, call Brett. He'll let me know. Don't go chasing waterfalls, and San Dimas High football rules.
Yeah, and got a creep.
All right.
Creep.
Oh, you got to creep.
all
Absolutely,
right.
yeah. Definitely.
Green light.
That's right. Well, thank you, sir, for coming on. It was an absolute honor to have you here today again.
Thank you.
And as always, peace.